Short King Spring could be on its way out, as popular dating app Tinder is going to include a new height filter. This new feature will allow its gold and premium members, aka those who pay for the service, to list height as a preference in their dating app profile settings. According to Tinder, the feature is a preference, not a hard filter, so it doesn't explicitly block or exclude profiles outside a certain height range.
The company told Newsweek, "We're always listening to what matters most to our Tinder users, and testing the paid height difference is a great example of how we're building with urgency, clarity, and focus." Height filters aren't new for dating apps. They've been around on apps like Hinge and Bumble for years, but still the new Tinder filter has sparked intense debate online. Conservative commentator Matt Walsh posted on X, "If they're going to put a height filter on men, then there should also be a weight filter on women. Of course, it's better to just not use the app at all, but fair is fair." But fitness YouTuber Jeff Nippard posted, "This really isn't a big deal. As a short man, if a woman doesn't find you attractive because of your height, then why would you want to be with her anyway?"
Okay, so what do I feel about the Tinder height filter? I know a lot of guys are upset about it, and they're saying that they should add a filter for women for their weight. The thing about Tinder is that at the end of the day, Tinder is a business. Majority of the users on Tinder are men, and they're trying to get more women on the app because a lot of women aren't already on the app. It's like 70% men, I believe, that are on Tinder. So they're never going to add a weight filter on Tinder because it's hard for them to keep enough women as there is. Like, if you've ever been on Tinder, a lot of times you'll see the same woman like a bazillion times if you live in a small area. So, yeah, I mean, that's just never going to happen. If we're all just being completely honest, we all know that height is a big thing to a lot of women. We all know this, right? Like, a lot of times you walk in a room, women be like, "Well, I'll never date a short guy," even though the girl might be like 5'1" or 5'3".
Especially them.
And I'm like,
they want the giants.
Can you even tell who's a short and tall guy? Like, is everybody tall to you?
Of course they can tell, bro.
Yeah, I mean, just in regards to that, I mean, all that's gonna happen is if they add this, is that guys are just gonna lie more. Guys already lie about their height. So every guy on the app is probably just gonna put 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2".
You can only lie if you're on the cusp. If you're 5'5", you're not gonna lie and say you're 6 feet.
I mean, listen,
that's crazy.
Bro, people catfish on these apps all the time. You think they're not gonna lie about this?
No, that'd be pointless unless they're just literally doing it to troll. But trying to find somebody, why would you do that? That would not work.
They're gonna lie about it. They're gonna show up on the first date, and they're gonna hope that their mouthpiece is gonna do the rest of the
Heck no, not. If you're on the cusp, yes. If you're on the cusp.
I mean, listen, if you're on the cusp, they can't tell.
Sure, but
if it's a short woman, do you think a woman who is 5'3" can tell the difference between someone who says, "Oh, I'm 5'10" versus 6 foot," or I'm?
Of course, it doesn't matter how short they are; they can judge. And you're acting as if they don't have height perception because they're short. Their vision isn't impaired because they're 4'1".
Listen, I know a lot of women who read height very, very wrong. So
no. I didn't say that's not true. Don't put that in my mouth. But they always round down and they're always wrong. But they do it for everybody. It doesn't matter if they're 4'1" or if they're 6 foot. Women do it all the time. I've for sure. But I agree with that. For sure, they always misjudge height. 100%.
Yeah, so that's where I'm like.
No, that's facts. But I'm saying they don't. You're making it seem as a shorter woman misjudges height more than a taller woman. I don't think that's true. I think all women just misjudge height. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I was just using that as an example. But
I think you're right overall. I think your point is true that I think that you're right that most men will lie about the height. Because if you're an average range guy, you probably will lie about it. But if you're super below average, you probably won't. But this reminds me, I've never used Tinder before. I have used Bumble. And when I heard this story, I was like, I thought this already existed. I think even before we did that, I asked you that question.
Yeah.
And that's because it exists on Bumble. That's why I was thinking about that. I guess Tinder is just behind because Bumble already has it, if I remember correctly. So I guess they're just trying to compete better. I don't know.
No, because my understanding, listen, I'll be honest, I don't use the apps like that. I've only really used it like when I moved to a new area.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, because you don't know anyone. Yeah, I mean, my thing was this. I knew that people's height was listed on there. Mm-hmm. But in terms of filtering people out, I didn't know that there was a filter for that on any of the apps.
On Bumble, you can.
On Bumble, there's a filter?
I think so. I've only used Bumble, and I've only used it a while back, but I think there is. I think. Yeah. But even this is saying it's not technically a filter. It's a preference. So it's not going to filter out, which I think is pointless. I think it should filter out.
I mean, people. I feel like that's kind of just PR saying, "Oh, you're not going to be filtered out. We just won't show you to as many people that probably put it." That's what I'm thinking. But you got to think, there's so many dudes on it. You're never going to get seen because it's majority dudes, so you're never going to get seen. And I mean, but the only real benefit to this is that the women who pay for the feature are probably going to be more serious because you have to pay for the feature. And let's be completely honest. Most of the people who pay for all these features on all these dating apps are men.
I didn't know that.
They're not women. Like, when's the last time you heard a woman say, like, yeah, I'm going to get Tinder Plus and Bumble Premium and all? Like, you hear guys talk about that. I've never in my life heard a girl ever say anything about this. I know plenty of girls who use dating apps. I've never heard them once speak about paying for a dating app. Because if they did, they'd probably complain about it.
That's a good one. I never heard of that. I never paid attention, but now that you say it, it's one of those things that's like, huh, that makes sense. I never thought much about it, but it would make sense that they wouldn't pay for it, because why would they have to? They don't have to pay to get more matches. They have enough.
Yeah, but this is a good way for them to make women pay because they know that matters to women is height.
That's true. No, this is a good business move for sure.
Yeah.
They obviously, see, I like when business decisions are informed off of actual data. They didn't just say, hey, some people in the boardroom were like, you know what would be a good idea? Let's do this thing. And then it fails.
But if we're all being realistic, like, because here's the thing. Because I do know, listen, when I was going to school, a lot of guys who got most of the women were short. Or or people would consider them shorter.
Below average.
Yeah. Yeah, because the average height is what, like 5'9", 5'10", or 5'8", around that area? Like
5'9" to 5'11", I guess. I don't know.
All right, so somewhere between that. The guys I know that were like getting a lot of girls, like attractive girls, were probably like 5'6", 5'7", but they were like jacked and like, you know, I mean, listen, there's other ways.
Most of the girls, they got girls. I don't think they got most of them. But
I'm just saying that they got a lot. I mean, we went to school together, but like...
No. Oh, yeah, we're different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, different.
And different groups, too.
Yeah. Because who I'm referring to is different. Like, we all know that athletes got girls. We all know that.
Yeah.
But there's a specific, and you probably know him, there's a specific person I'm specifically talking about, and I know verbatim that they got like a lot of women when I was in high school or whatever, and they were always short. And I'm going to say it once this video ends.
Okay.
You're going to know what I'm talking about.
I'm confused.
But, yeah, I mean, there's... The thing about dating apps, which makes dating apps very hard for men, is the fact that you don't get your biggest attribute. Like, as a man, your biggest attribute is what? Your personality, your charisma, your sweat. Like, just how you are in person means a lot more to women opposed to guys. Like, guys, like, if you're not attracted to them, I mean, you're pretty much cooked. Like, if we just being real. Like, if like we see you, we don't like you, it's a wrap. Like, there's not that much you can do. You can be very nice, like that's gonna help, but like if he has options and you're just nice and he's not attracted to you, I mean that's gonna happen.
Once, here's an anecdote I will share. I was talking to a group of friends, girls and guys, and I was talking to this guy I didn't know very well, and he seemed like a nice young man, and he was quite short. And you know, I was like, you should probably go up to this girl, mutual friend of ours. You should talk to her, probably see if she's interested. And he was basically like, no, I'm dead in the water because I'm short. I was like, really? Because I'd been in a relationship for a very long time. I'm not super familiar with the dating scene. I was like, well, you're dead in the water because you're short. He wasn't like freakishly short or something.
He wasn't 4'9".
But he was right. It turns out, this is what I've learned from my female friends, that height matters way more than I would have possibly known about. And that because I'm just like a normal sized human being. I'm like 5'11", like average adult human male height. I don't think about height that much, but yeah, it's real hard out there for straight short males.
Well, they're gonna have to go to the bar and try their luck. Like this sounds like such entitlement.
And it's gonna get harder.
You are mad that a girl has a preference, like. Women have always had preferences, so do men. Like you might
women
like somebody that can cook.
Irrational.
No, but it's personal. So if they want to do that, it doesn't have to do with you. It doesn't have to do with me. If they want somebody who can cook,
funny,
somebody
who's nice,
tall,
have to be smart, has to be
funny.
able to cook, funny but not too funny.
So
have to have a bank account.
Men are never shy about their preferences. They sit on an app and they're like, no. Like you think that they need a Cindy Crawford, and it's like, what are you bringing to the table? How dare you, say this is what you want? And
my anecdotal experience from my friends and people I associate with is that men have standards that are far lower than women's in terms of dating partners. The camera people are laughing at me right now. They know it's true. They know it's true.
Okay, you can already filter by age. You can easily swipe when you don't like the way somebody looks on their first picture. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to see why height's an issue. Like if I'm a woman and I'm like, I don't want somebody who I'm like looking down upon and I'm only 5'3". That's okay for me. I don't have to do that.
We're laughing about this.
And he's so riled up.
I don't have any problem. No, I think it's totally fine for them to have height. Well, although if we want to make this a very controversial segment. You're okay with height filters and attractiveness filters. Could we do and age filters we're all gonna be fine with? What about racial filters? That's been a thing
about
on
to
other
say something else.
sites. Is that how do you feel about that one, Lindsay?
Height, come on. Like, I feel like you might just literally not want to look up or down depending on where you are. I mean, and also, you know what? Honestly, you can have a preference. If you prefer to date a black guy, if you prefer to date a white guy, go ahead.
Yeah,
like, why does it matter to me? You're on a dating app looking for love. I actually don't mind that. And I don't think anybody should be offended that somebody's seeking out their preference. Now, what I understand is that sometimes when you're in love, if you go out to a nice lounge, you might meet somebody who's unexpectedly your type, and you realize because of their actual personality and the characteristics that make them who they are, that you might be closing off a whole world of great people. So maybe they should be considerate about that and maybe not have expectations.
I agree with that. I think it's absolutely fine to have a type and even to have an app that caters to.
Let me first off say that this man was cooking.
He was cooking. He's about to say something too.
No, yeah, he was definitely about to hit her with the weight.
Yeah, he's about to say the weight.
And then the other body was like, "I'm on the news."
He's like,
he was on the cusp.
He took a safer route that wasn't even that safe. That's how you know how big of an issue the weight thing is.
Yeah.
Because he's like, let me talk about race instead of weight. Like, that's much better.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But here's the thing though. Race wasn't that big because he's white. If he was a black guy and said, "Let's talk about race," I feel like it'd be more of an issue. Dude, he's absolutely right. Like, her trying to act like it doesn't happen. Like, here's the thing. I understand that she's probably at that age where she's probably already married, probably already found her person or whatever. So, I mean, she doesn't really understand how things work now. Like, she's talking about, like, oh, just go to the bar. Like, a lot of young people don't go to the bar anymore. A lot of young people don't go to the club anymore. A lot of people don't really interact like that. It's not like it's 1992 or the 2000s anymore where, like, you know, you'd go out and, like, the whole room is filled up and then, like, you know, you're out there risen up. So, like, it's not really like that anymore. Unless you live in, like, a huge major city, these places are not that crowded.
I think that, again, it's okay. We have preferences. I even think it's okay for stuff that even more controversial than height, like he said. And I'm not talking about weight. I'm talking about race. If you like a certain, if you prefer a certain race, then you prefer a certain race. That's what it is.
I've always agreed with that. Listen, if you like strawberry ice cream, someone forcing you to like chocolate ice cream is going to do absolutely nothing.
It makes no sense.
If anything, that you're just going to go over there and eat your ice cream in private. So it doesn't matter.
And like she said, that's why I said earlier in the video about how, okay, cool, it's a filter, but does it really matter? It's just a way to get them to pay more. They're going to select for the height. A lot of times, if you don't have that, a lot of times guys, if they're not 6 feet or over 6 feet, they're going to either not put it there or they're going to lie.
Yeah.
So the woman is already screening for that.
Yeah.
So this is not really changing much. Unless they actually block, like you said, they might do in a way, cool. Yeah. If they're not actually blocking it, it doesn't change much besides make them more money. She's still gonna say, I want a guy that's 6 feet or taller, 6 figures or more. The whole 666 crap they talk about now.
Yeah.
It's not changed. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I think the main thing with guys is that they just want the options to still be seen. I think that's a big part. Because like I said, they might not get filtered out, but because they're so, like, if they let's, for example, let's say they put the height filter on, right? And the first 60 guys they're gonna show you are gonna be 6'4" or 6'5". A girl's not gonna swipe all the way to 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the app is mostly men. So even if you might be 6 foot, you might not even be a short guy. You still all the way in the back.
No, of course.
You know, so I mean, I think that's the main thing with guys is that they just at least want a chance to be seen, so that way they're like, all right, cool. Like she might like something about my picture or something like that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's obviously better to meet people in public, but I mean, the dating landscape now pretty much is online, just because that people just aren't as interactive. Like if you go to the basketball courts now, no one's at the basketball court. Just like even on a nice hot day, like you see a few people walking around, but like as a kid, I remember it used to be like filled. You'd always see a kid outside. You'd always see a person outside. You'd always see the mall be crowded on a Saturday. Like things that people would meet each other and interact with, you'd see it a lot of times. And now I just don't see it. So now, I mean, I'm not surprised that a lot of people feel this way about online dating, because I mean, that's the main way that people meet each other now. Yeah. So you think it's a good decision, bad decision?
I think it's a good decision. I'm always gonna go back to the money, for me personally, no matter what. So for me, if it's gonna make the company more money, and they're listening to what their users want, it's not just a random idea they had and decided to try it out because, oh, let's just do it. No, this is actual feedback they received. I think it's a great idea.
This is what I'll say. I think it's a good decision only if their intent was to get more women to use the app. Then it's a good decision. If it was to get more, because here's the thing, a lot of people have been leaving Tinder. Like Tinder hasn't been doing well. Just like Bundr hasn't been doing well, Tinder hasn't been doing well. Okay. So if the whole thing was to keep more people on in general, which is the people who are paying the most is men, then it's a bad decision. Because then men are like, well, why am I paying all this extra money because I'm gonna get filtered out anyway. So who cares? Because I guarantee it's probably not the 6'5" guy who's built like Michael B. Jordan or built like a linebacker who's complaining that he's not getting matches.
Okay, that's actually true. If it's going to hurt their primary user base, then it's a bad decision, I'd say. But who knows? Maybe those guys aren't paying for as much as we think they are. Like how many? I don't know. I don't know how many premium accounts people actually have or whatever it's called, premium or was it gold? What is it?
I don't know. I think there's gold, and I think they introduced like a $500 one at some point.
What?
I don't know.
What the heck is that? For what? What do you get?
Who the hell is paying for that?
What do you get with that?
I don't know. It better come with a person.
Bruh, $500 for a month?
That better come with the person. like they get transported, dude.
Nah, that's for the people that are just like at their wits end. Like I need to find someone tomorrow, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I'm putting out $500. I'm putting that in my Roth IRA, not Tinder.
I mean, someone's getting held at ransom at that point. Like you better find someone.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't pay for anything to be honest. Hey, it is what it is. If I don't get lucky, I don't get lucky, and that's fine. And I don't mean lucky that way, by the way.
Yeah, sure you don't.
I know.
All right, guys. So if you think it's a good decision, leave a like, leave a comment. If you think it's a bad decision and it's discrimination, leave a like, leave a comment. All right, decision makers, go filter someone out.